Hi friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. This is a video I've been planning on doing for several months now, and actually I was going to do it at the end of the week, but considering the recent news, which I was very surprised to hear. I mean, I'm surprised and yet I'm not surprised given the climate of gamers and the information age as it is today. But that news is that the Prima company, who also bought out Prima Games strategy guides in 2015, is gone. So one of my favorite, I have an enormous collection of strategy guides. I had a lot more at one time, and I've gotten rid of a bunch of them, and I'm trying to, in the process now, I'm trying to get a lot of them back, which is going to take some time. But I was really devastated. To me, now I know a lot of people right off the bat, I don't understand the guide thing. I don't need a guide to cheat through the game. And to me, it's not about cheating. It's about having something that augments the game itself. And there's something about going down. I mean, I started buying them back in, God, I guess the early 2000s. You know, I started off by buying one for the Red Faction game, which I no longer have. I had one for Red Faction 2, which I don't think I have that one either anymore. But I started off buying them early on. I think in the early 2000s, maybe the late 90s, possibly. Sometimes a gaming magazine would have like a, you know, how to beat a boss or something. But the guide had it all, man. You had the maps, you had beautiful artwork that the developers showed, usually, you know, early sketches of how they developed the concepts for the game itself and the level design and all that. And to me, as a visual person, as an artist, and as someone who loves books, I have a huge collection of books, coffee table books about, you know, Hollywood and cars and muscle cars and making movies and you know, all my favorite things are, you know, that I'm interested in. World War II, I got several big, you know, World War II coffee table books. So strategy guides are like a no-brainer. I mean, in virtually every game I've bought since the early 2000s, if there's a guide that comes with the game, I buy it without question, with few exceptions. A lot of racing games, you really don't need them, and even then I have a few of those, as rare as those are. But I'm just devastated. The thought of not having a guide. I mean, with a game like Grand Theft Auto 5, I mean, you have to have a guide if you're going to go after those collectibles and you want to know the locations of all the stunt jumps. Or, I mean, the odds of finding all of those hidden packages or collectibles on your own in LA Noire or in any of these games is really tough, and I love guides for that reason. Now, I try not to read them from the standpoint of like reading ahead to see, okay, what that level is going to be. I don't want to spoil it for myself, but it's nice to fall back. If I play a level 3 times and I'm stuck, I can go to the chapter in the guide and there's the information on how to get through it. Now, I know today everyone's thinking, well, you can see all that on the internet. I know, it's not the same thing though. Even sitting on the toilet, I mean, we went down for Christmas a couple years ago, and even though I didn't have a gaming console with me or a way to play games, at the time I just bought, I just got the Fallout 4 game. So I got the Fallout 4 guide and I just took that down for Christmas, and I read that because it was such an in-depth game. I wanted to understand the systems in place, perk systems, everything. And it was an enormous help for getting my head around the mechanics, you know, and the minutia of that game. And so for me, guides are really crucial. I mean, I can't imagine going and buying a big game like Far Cry 5. I've got a hardbound edition, comes with a beautiful map. The map right here. I think this is Far Cry. Yeah, this is a Far Cry 5 map, you know. It's just nice having the maps. You know, it has all the characters in the game. You've got big maps, small maps, blowing up the different areas, and I love that about the posters and the maps you get with it. Some of them have, like I said, a tremendous, you know, amount of conceptual art and how they develop the games in you know, question. And it's something that adds to the game. It's part of the whole gaming experience. Again, I love physical media. I like to hold the game. I like to read the back of the box. I want to read the manual. These are an extension of that manual. So I hope that another company picks up the slack and maybe buys them out. Now, ironically, their headquarters are just right across from where I buy my paint, over on Lava Court, in Roseville. It's just a couple miles from here. I was going to go over there yesterday, drive over there on a Sunday, and film in the parking lot, showing, you know, their office building and the sign on the building and all that. But I didn't have time. We've had a major emergency here over the weekend with plumbers here all weekend. It was my anniversary as well. We were going to go out and do stuff. The weekend went right down the toilet, so sadly I couldn't. I wish I could have done that. Maybe in another vlog down the road I'll drive by and film it before they take the sign down and the company completely goes out of business. But I'm just really devastated. To me, it's like, it's bad enough we're losing physical media. It just drives me crazy. But now on top of that, we're going to lose the guides, you know, which to me, like I said, every game, like a game like Mad Max, man, I could have used a guide if ever I had needed one in that game. And it took me several hours to really get into that game. And you could see I've done a lot of videos and tips and strategies for that game, which I found out the hard way. If I'd had a guide, it would have made it so much easier. I could have understood the mechanics, the leveling up system, which is pretty intricate. So to me, I love them. And again, not all games have them. A lot of games don't have them. You know, like the Wolfenstein, the New Colossus didn't have a guide, and I could have used one for that game, although the second one does, you know, or I mean maybe the New Colossus 2, I don't know. I guess the first one is the New Order. That one didn't have a guide, and I would have loved to have had a guide for that. There's so much I wanted to try to understand about the perk systems. I had to go online and watch a lot of YouTube videos about the best way to play, you know, depending on which type of gameplay you wanted with the perk system and all that. But anyway, I mean, I know tech, and I do go online sometimes. I'll see something. It's nice to see how someone beats a boss in a level or whatever. I mean, you can see it quickly in a YouTube video, certainly, but it's just not the same thing, man. I like having that guide. And I mean, gaming is just dying. It's like the ship is going down. A lot of the dynamics of gaming that I love, that I have learned to love and grown to love over the years, to see them one by one go down the toilet for whatever the new thing is. Some, you know, some streaming games. I'll never stream a game. I'll literally stop modern gaming at that point. As long as I can, even digitally, as long as I can own the game in my hard drive, I'll do it that way. But this is really sad. So without spending any more time getting into that, that's a vlog in and of itself. I'm just really heartbroken. It's one of my favorite aspects of game collecting and being a gamer, is having those guides to refer to, just to look at. So I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as I can. Start off with some of the older ones. They're in no particular order. There's a big piles of them all over the table here. But I've been holding up this Myst 3 Exile. This is a game that I typically don't like a guide for it, but I happened to come across this guide and got it just because it would be kind of cool to have a Myst guide. For all I know, they have one for Riven and the other games as well. But I think this is the only Myst guide that I have. But it's nice. You got all the, you get the maps. You get pictures of how to get through certain areas, certain screens. When you get to the screen, you go left or right. And it gives you things if you want the tips on it. It's great. Some of these I collect just to have them. Soldier of Two Fortune Double Helix. This is a smaller size guide. It's not as big. But these are great. I love just even reading just the outside cover. Looking at the cover, the back of the book. It's so cool. This is, again, a much smaller guide. Scarface, The World Is Yours. My good buddy Jeremy actually found this for me on eBay and sent it to me. A wonderful game. I've got this installed on my modded Xbox. I'm dying to get into this. This is it's great. And it has the map as well. You get these huge maps showing, the Miami and all the islands and beautiful artwork. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And it's a shame to have that gone. I'm just still can't get my head around it. SSX3, a fantastic game and guide. One of my favorite games, Chronicles of Riddick. This is Assault on Dark Athena. Now, I also have the Escape from Butcher Bay, which is actually for the Xbox. But when I bought this game, I went out and found the guide for the other one as well, for the older game, just so I can get through it. But these are great, man. And they're so helpful. They really help you. You can save yourself so much grief. I watch a lot of game reviews. I watched some game reviews on GTA Vice City the other day, and a lot of people got stuck on the thing where they had there was a little helicopter, like a radio control helicopter. You pick up this stuff and you got to get it out of this construction site in a limited set of time. Everyone couldn't beat that level. Oh, I couldn't beat it. God, it was the hardest level in the game. I did made it on my second try because I had the guide. And it said the fastest route, you can do it many ways, but we found this is the ideal route. I took a quick note of it, and it took me 2 or 3 attempts, got through it no problem. If I hadn't had that guide, it would have been a day of trial and error, and maybe that would have been one of my frustrating levels. But with the guide, it helps you to get through those kind of, sometimes it will show you the best route. If you're going to follow a convoy, this is, you're better following it this direction versus that. It's a great thing. Cold Fear, a really cool original Xbox game like Resident Evil. This is a very rare and very cool guide. Beautiful artwork on this. These are fantastic. Shell Shock Nam 67, a really fun game. I love this game and a great guide. Duke Nukem Time to Kill. Now, I wish I had had this guide. I didn't even know about guides back when I bought this game in the 97, 98 for the PS1. But this really helped. This game is fucking tough. And this guide will help you get through a game and save you a lot of unnecessary grief, you know. It's a beautiful thing. These are great guides. I love these. Just having them, to look at these, you know, to look at these pictures. You know, I don't know if this has the level designs or not in it, but it's just a lot of really cool stuff of all the levels, everything in the game. It's so cool. SOCOM 3. I had the original SOCOM 1 guide back when I bought the first SOCOM with the headset. Unfortunately, like I said, back then I got rid of all the guides as I got rid of the games. So now I'm buying them all back. It's going to take me a while. Condemned Criminal Origins. I have this one. This one I kind of stumbled across. Well, I'll buy that because I know eventually I'd like to play that game. It's like, man, how did I know I'd love it? I don't have the second one, but at least I got the first one. It's nice to have it. Sometimes I'll see a guide and I'll buy it just knowing that eventually I'll play the game. Splinter Cell Conviction. This is one I bought with the game. And it's helpful. It is helpful showing you different strategies and scenarios getting through. Yeah, here it is. Here's the Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay. Now this is for the original Xbox, but it also holds up and it works perfectly for the remastered version with Assault on Dark Athena. It's a beautiful thing. This is one of my favorite guides. I absolutely love this one. And one of my favorite Bond games, From Russia with Love. A very beautiful guide, very colorful. This is one of my favorite strategy guides. I love the artwork in this. I love the graphic design. It's very bold. Really good, you know, all the stuff on the levels. I mean, how could a gamer not find these fascinating? It's just, if you're a game collector and you don't have guides, I can't imagine. I know there's people that just don't care about them. One of my favorite games of all time, Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Now this is one I bought early on. This is a guidebook that I needed to have, and man, this helped me get through that game, through some tough parts where I was just getting my ass handed to me near the end of the game. And it's a beautiful thing. Great level design, great little tips and tricks and strategies, and nice little captions, and it's just, they're nicely laid out. As a visual person, again, they're just wonderful. Medal of Honor Frontline. Wow, what a great game. I played this on the PlayStation 2 initially. I think it was the PS2 or the Xbox. And I bought this guide, had it back then, and then I rebought it again recently, and I got the PS3 version as well. Twisted Metal Black. I don't know if this is my original one. This probably is. I think I rebought this one as well. It's sad because I had so many guides through all those 6th-gen games and a couple 5th-gen games, and I no longer have them. But this is helpful. These guides are very helpful, showing you where all the power-ups are, all the map levels, the different levels, and where everything is, the power-ups and everything. It's so helpful. Freedom Fighters. Wow, what a great guidebook and a wonderful game. It's just wonderful to look at these. I mean, it's just, as a collector, it augments every game that you collect. Splinter Cell Double Agent. This game is tough. I never could finish this game, and the guidebook is very helpful. It gives you multiple different ways to approach each situation, which I appreciate. Bulletstorm. Now I have the new remastered one, and I bought this with the original, my pre-ordered game. This is a great guidebook. Very helpful. Shows you the best way to get the combo kills and stuff. It's so good. Just Cause 2, I use this to find all the crates and all of the leveling up things. I didn't even do that many missions, but the guide was very helpful. I think there's a huge map with this as well. You have a big map in here, which is one of the biggest map worlds in an open world game. Fantastic. Forza, I got this one a year or so ago. They're a friend. It's even nicely embossed. It's got nice embossed lettering in the car in the front. Now this is, I mean, I never had this one back. I bought Forza but when it first came out, but never had this guidebook. But it's nice. It just shows you all the cars and the stats on the cars and the tracks and everything. It's a beautiful thing. And it even has like a little poster deal that comes with it apparently. So it's nice having that stuff. The game Black, wow. I think this is, I don't think this is my original. I think I rebought this. Again, I think I rebought all these 6th Gen ones, but this is a great game. And this is helpful. This game can be really tough in parts, and every little tip can help you out. Ghost Recon, this is the first Ghost Recon. I have a couple Ghost Recon books, not too many. Mass Effect, I recently got the Mass Effect trilogy for the PlayStation 3. When the time's right, at least for the first Mass Effect, I'll have a guide to help me get through that and get my head around the game mechanics and choices. Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I had to have this. This is a wonderful... I think it's like flip-flop. On each side it has a cover. I think one's for, this is for the Wii and the other one's for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. It's kind of interesting. Star Wars Obi-Wan. Now, this is not a great game, but it's cool. It's kind of a nice, you know, reflective guide. It's got some beautiful levels in it. The game has some merit, and the guidebook certainly will help. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This is a very cool guide. The Saboteur, now this is my original Saboteur guide, which I bought with the game when I first bought it. Very helpful, very, very helpful. These guys are just so good. Beautiful map. I think there's a pull-out map. Yeah, here there is. Big pull-out map that you can open up as well, which helps. Sometimes I'm at the coffee table, I just unfold the map and you can quickly see where everything is. It's a beautiful thing. One of my favorite driver games, in fact it is my favorite driver game, Driver Parallel Lines. This is a cool and rare guide. Very helpful. These are great. The locations of all the stunt jumps, everything. So that's one pile. I'll try to go through these as quickly as I can. You get Dead Island 1, bought when I first bought the game. This I got recently because I did get the Dead Island Definitive Edition, which came with Riptide, so I got the Riptide guide. I got Dying Light, which I bought when I bought the following edition. Left 4 Dead 1, Left 4 Dead 2. I just play the single player and I do split screen with my nephew. The Godfather, the game. Now, I recently bought this. This was the Extra Dawn edition for the Xbox 360, but I had the old original Xbox version at one time. This is very helpful. This has been a real help. Unfortunately, it was missing the map, but I got the Godfather 2 book. Beautifully done, just nicely laid out. I mean, I just love the characters and colors in this. I've got little things saving my place from the game. Kane and Lynch Dead Men. This is a great guide. Now these games are tough at points and they're helpful. Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days. This game I played all the way through and really enjoyed it. A tough game but fun. Really, really cool, unusual graphics like the Heat movie. Very violent and visceral. Rage. Wow, this is a great one. I bought this when I pre-ordered the game. Now this is a Prima guide, but there's strangely no Prima little banner at the top. It's kind of unusual. Some of these guys are kind of interesting how that they're different, you know. Alan Wake, I did a job for a couple that both work for Microsoft, and they said, any new games you want? I go, yeah, I kind of like the new Alan Wake game, and I think Borderlands. So they got me a couple games, and I went out and bought the guide to go with the free game that they gave me. I still haven't played this game. I recently got it back in my collection. I'm anxious to get through it. Aliens Colonial Marines, a game that's notoriously hated. I personally love it, especially since it's patched. I love this game. Pre-ordered it, played the shit out of it the night I got it home. Initially people liked it, and then all of a sudden it became kind of a shit game and became fashionable as shit on the game, but I actually love the game. Spec Ops The Line. This is a good game to have a guide for. For a fantastic game. I love this game. GoldenEye Reloaded. This is a great game. I love this. I think it's better than the original GoldenEye version of the game that I've seen for the Wii or whatever. It looks nicely remastered. There's just no blood in the game, but it's a great game. Now, sadly, the one that came after this, they didn't have a guide for it, which was the one that wasn't well received, which I think is actually better than this game. Oh God, it was the one that came out when the new James Bond movie came out. I can't remember the name of it, but so some games had guides and then some didn't, probably because the sales weren't well, or they kind of knew that the game was being rushed out. They didn't have enough time to get a guide out. Human Revolution. I got this game guide for $20 used. These are going for like 50 bucks and up on eBay. They're getting expensive. Some of these are getting expensive and they're getting hard to get. That's another reason why I'm trying to get them now. The original Tomb Raider game, this I got in 2013, very valuable to help me find all the collectibles, little campfire things, everything. It was very helpful. Destroy All Humans, one of my favorite games. I've been playing the PlayStation 4 version, very cool. Project Gotham Racing 4. This is a very unusual guide, very cool. It shows all the cars and bikes and the stats and the racetracks and the maps. It's just nice having it. This is one that I saw. I didn't have to have it, but I said, you know, it was real cheap, like a couple bucks. You know, I'm going to get that. It's kind of unusual. Dishonored, the game I got the definitive edition. I got to get back to. Wonderful game, great stealth game. Mafia 2, my God, one of my favorite games. This is a guidebook I bought the day the game came out. It's so helpful. Beautiful maps. All the locations of the Playboy magazines. I think there was one printed error for the collectibles in this, which I had to go on the internet to fix. And that happens too. Sometimes in the rush to get a game guide out, they'll make a mistake, or they'll have two of the same little pictures, and the numbers will be off or something. Sometimes it happens. The Last of Us. I got the original guide with the PlayStation 3 version. Fantastic game. Lost Planet 3. I bought this with the guidebook the day I bought this when it came out. Even though I'd never played the other two, I did start to play this and really enjoyed it. Wolfenstein, the day I bought my Xbox 360, I bought this game and the guidebook from one of my top 3 favorite developers, Raven Software, who's relocated to making multiplayer maps now, and then redid the Call of Duty 4 remastered as well. And a Rare Singularity guide, also from Raven Software. Very cool. This is such a great guide. And man, there's some great strategies and ways to get through some of the tougher levels. It's worth it. Here's an unusual one. The day I got this, on Valentine's Day, I got this guide. This is great. It shows all the ways you can play, all the maps, the whole story mode, obviously. I mean, it's so helpful to have these guides. If you're going to get through tougher levels, true, you can go online, but to me, it's not the same. I like having that guidebook. Gears of War, this I found recently. I just, you know, I'll go ahead and get it. I'd like to replay the Gears series sometime, and I'll definitely be starting with the first one. Resistance Fall of Man. When I first got my PlayStation 3, my wife bought me the Resistance game, and I think I went out, or maybe she got me the guide with it, and for my PS3. So this is a series that I started to use this getting through the first Resistance game, which came in quite helpful, actually. Batman Arkham Knight. I recently had my wife get this off from eBay because I couldn't find it locally, because I got the digital version and I started going through and playing it, and it is very helpful with all the locations of where everything is. It just, you can't beat having these guides and maps that come in handy. So that's those ones there. Let me see what, oh shit, just moved the camera. Here's another pile. Far Cry 3, one of my favorite Far Cry games. This I bought the day that the game came out. Now I can play the PS4 version, so you're saving my place. Here's a Ubisoft Pass thing. I usually use inserts from the game themselves for my page markers. Here's another one. I don't know, it's got something, I can't even read it. Oh, it's something that came with the game, and I again use those as like little page savers. Far Cry 4, another great game. Love that one. Thief, my buddy Cameron gave me this Thief game because he knows I like stealth games. So he got me the guidebook too with it, which I'm anxious to go through and play this game. And it'll be helpful to get through and to see all the maps and locations of everything. It's just great having them. The BioShock collection I bought recently, and I immediately bought this guidebook because I think it has all 3 of the BioShock games in this for the strategy guide. Even though I think I had, yeah, I think I've got BioShock Infinite. I do have that guide separately, but it's just nice having them all because I'd like to go back and play the originals. Ghost Recon, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. This is a big-ass, thick guide. Very helpful. When I'm ready to go into Ghost Recon Wildlands, you better believe we're ready for that. This is an expensive guide and thick as hell. You could kill someone with this thing. Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition with all the expansion packs and all their levels in here as well. Very worth every penny. Very cool guys. These are great. If you love like the Fallout games, just going through and seeing the artwork and the propaganda posters and all the little locations in the game. It's just an absolute treat to go through. Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel. I actually love this game. I don't understand the hate towards it. I've never played the other two, although I have them now, and I'm anxious to play those, but I love this game. And there was a couple difficult areas, and this did help quite a bit and helped me to get through. Medal of Honor Warfighter. I don't know that there's one for the 2010 one or not. I don't know, but I do have the Warfighter one. I like the 2010 one so much I bought this. I love this game. I think it was unjustly criticized for political correctness because it's kind of pro-war. But a great game and a good guide. Star Trek, this is one of the worst broken games I played. When the day this came out, I was so excited to play this. I naturally bought the guide with it. The game had bugs up the ass, like a game-breaking bug. I had to go back to the middle of the game after like 3 or 4 hours of playing. I was devastated. Never returned to it, but I don't have the heart to get rid of it. It is Star Trek, so I got the guide. Sleeping Dogs, I got the definitive edition, and you better believe I'm going to be going to this. It doesn't have some of the newer DLC missions in it and stuff, but it does have the basic game in it, in the maps, and all the shrine locations, and the Jade statue locations, everything, and believe me, you're going to want those. Now, yeah, you can go online, but to me, to go to my PC and look something up and then run back to the living room to the couch, it sucks. When I got the guidebook right there, I can pause the game, I got this right in my lap. Yeah, I could use my cell phone, but now I'm looking at a little tiny screen with my glasses. It's hard for me to read it in the glare. It's just not worth it. Hitman Absolution, bought this the day it came out. Wonderful guide. Doom. I think someone gave me this guidebook with the game. So I actually got 2 friends that were shocked I didn't play Doom. They both sent me the game Doom, one from the UK, one here in the States, and one of them sent the guidebook as well, which I'm very thankful for. So when I'm ready to play the game, this will show the locations of all those little statues and stuff. It would be nice to have. Uncharted 4, Thief's End. I did start going through this one. I did start going through this game, and this was helpful. Very cool. Again, with the collectibles and stuff in particular, and just seeing the story of the game and the characters and the gun stats and everything. It's very, very cool. So that's that one. Gonna move these around a little bit. Battlefield Bad Company 2. This is the world's smallest guide. Little tiny spiral-bound guide. Now, I don't play the multiplayer, but it does have a small area with the single-player campaign in here. And it's a very nice little guide. This is a great little guide. I love this. It's like a military field manual. Now, I have 2 of these for some reason. Bad Company, Battlefield, the first one. I got 2 of these guides for some reason. But, again, these are 2 of my favorite Battlefield games of all time. I'm only in it for the single player. That's it. I will not be buying or playing the new Battlefield 5 at all, sadly. But that's another rant. Battlefield 3, very enjoyable. I really like the campaign. I don't understand the hate towards the campaign in this. Again, most of this is set up for multiplayer stats and stuff, but it has a thing of the single-player campaign as well. Battlefield Hardline, this was helpful, and I want to return to this game again. I really enjoyed this. This was kind of a surprise game from Battlefield, from DICE. Quite enjoyable. I'm anxious to get back to it. Call of Duty World at War. This is a great guidebook. I love this. I love this game so much, and this is so nice having this with all the maps, all the weapon stats, different strategies to getting through the campaign. It's so wonderful. Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, I have the guide for both of these. Both of these I bought with the game. This I actually sent to my nephew. He mailed it back when he was done playing the games, and I can go back through it again. So those are my Call of Duty and Battlefield guides. Kind of kept those together. Now we'll get into the Rockstar guides. Manhunt. This is my original Manhunt guide from the very beginning. This is a very cool. I cherish this thing. I got the highest rating when you shut the HUD off. I know where everything is anyway, and I unlocked the 4 hidden missions in the game, which it gets into, and even how to beat those, which is helpful. Very cool. Manhunt 2, another excellent Rockstar guide. I love this game. In fact, I got to find another new Manhunt 2 because my copy is missing the manual, which is kind of an interesting manual. I like the manual in these games. Rockstar has just some of the best games and manuals. I love the Manhunt series. Warriors. I got the PS4 version of this, so I went out and bought another guide. I had this back in the day when I had this for my Xbox. But it's nice to have the guide back. It's very cool. It shows where all of the secret locations are and the graffiti things and everything. It's very cool. Max Payne 3. Now, I used to have Max Payne 1 and 2, the guides. Unfortunately, I don't have them anymore. I'm going to be buying those back. But I do have the Max Payne 3 guide. I'm on the second to the last level at the police station. This helped me find all the gold gun part locations, all found. You can see I've got a page marked in here. What is it? Saving my progress. Yeah, in the police station. That's where I'm at right now. And it's a little Max Payne 3. Again, the little slips that are inside the game itself I use as like, you know, my page markers. Here's an old receipt for the game and the guidebook, ironically. Red Dead Redemption. Just showed this in my last video. The game guide I bought the same day. Very helpful. Very, very helpful. This has got a beautiful map. I love the map in this. It's one of the coolest maps that Rockstar has ever made. You know, all the location stuff of the different forts and locations and what have you. It's just very cool. So nice having this stuff, you know. I mean, it's like a piece of history for gamers. I mean, why would people balk at strategy guides? I don't get it. I've seen many more people that don't like guides than do. And there's like a rare niche market for people that are into strategy guides, it seems. Now, LA Noire. Now, I bought the new one because it has all the DLC missions, which the first one, which I bought with the game, doesn't have. In fact, not only that, but I found by going through this last night, I was looking through here, it has all the page notes, which I had to go online to find, of the correct answers for because I kept fucking up on the DLC cases. So this showed the correct syntax. I found my old notes, which now you don't need this because they're all in here. And the VR missions, if I ever get the PlayStation VR, and I don't know if this is on the PlayStation version of the virtual reality setup, but I can do all the VR missions through here, and it gives you all the tips for it. And it has all the additional collectible locations for the shields and novels, and there's like 3 sets of additional collectibles in this, as well as all the outfits are explained. So there's a lot more in this, but it's nice having the original one too. In fact, I prefer the original cover actually to the new one. Now these are both by, actually now this one's funny, this is from Brady Guides, and this is from Prima. They both are done by the same person in the bottom, so you can tell that they were bought out. It's the exact same people that wrote both guides. They just kind of, you know, copy and paste it. But I guess, like I said, in 2015, they bought out Brady Game Guides, so I don't know who's going to pick up the mantle from here. I can't believe we're going to have big open world games like another Far Cry 6 or GTA 6 if we're ever graced enough and lucky enough to have one, where we're going to have that. I hope that we'll have, you know, more game guides. I can't imagine living without them. Now, I recently got all these back. I had Grand Theft Auto 3. They all come with the maps. Vice City. It's got a beautiful Vice City map in this one. Right here. Yeah, I love this. I love these maps. They're so cool. All the hidden package locations. We've got a poster on the other side. I mean, this is the shit, man. These are so cool. You've got this great poster with all the hidden package locations. It's very neat. So it's just, and I've used this. I used this map to find every collectible on the original one when I had my original copy. San Andreas, so when I started going through it again, I can play this. Again, it has all the maps. This map I haven't pulled out yet, but it's in the back here. Very cool. So nice to have this. Grand Theft Auto 4. This I've gone through about halfway through the middle of the game right now. Very helpful. GTA 5, when I go through after LA Noire, I want to go through the new remastered GTA 5. And this has got the nice hardbound book. I love this guidebook, and I've got my money's worth out of it already. A lot of hours in the game, and you better believe it's just nice having this. Sometimes I'll shut the game off and I'll sit on the toilet at night for a while, you know, and I'll bring the game guide in with me, you know. I'll bring my old man reading glasses. It's a beautiful thing. I got Vinny down there by my feet and a gaming guide in my lap. It's a beautiful thing. Why people don't like them, I don't get it. And now that I'm showing the hardbound ones, I'll segue into my hardbound guides. Far Cry 5. I'm dying to play this soon. This is going to be so cool, and I've got the map I just showed earlier. This is a great guidebook. This will be a big help. Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. I love this kind of velvety cover, great artwork, beautiful maps, everything you want to know inside. It's a great thing. Fallout 4, this is the one I took down for Christmas. I love this, very handsome, a great book, nice thick guidebook. Nice to have, very nice to have. Limited edition BioShock Infinite. This is when I bought the special edition of this back when the BioShock Infinite. It's the only one that I've played of the three. Love this game, beautiful graphics, and it's a beautiful guidebook. There's a lot of nice artwork in here. Beautifully done. I mean, it's a shame that we're not going to get these anymore. Look at this. Why would you not want these guidebooks? I don't understand it. I mean, yeah, I can go on the internet and look it up, but it's not the same. It's not the same. Black Flag Assassin's Creed. I love the open world and the pirate aspect of that game. This will be a big help when the time comes. Batman Arkham Origins. This is the only Batman game I initially played, was the Origins one, which I bought for the PlayStation 3. This is a wonderful guidebook, beautifully done. Came with some lithographs, which I have in my one of my stand-up bookcases I've got mounted in one of the shelves. Mafia 3. This is I've had out on the coffee table recently, going through this again. You can see I mark my pages. Sometimes I'll mark them with these money cards, PlayStation Store cards. I use those, and they're nice and stiff, so I use them as page markers. I was going through and marking, you know, where I left off. Primal Fear, Far Cry Primal. Now, this I have a digital, the Apex version with all the DLC, but I had my wife go on eBay and find me an inexpensive guidebook for this because I know that I'm going to enjoy this and I want to go through this. Carrot at Angry Centaur Gaming just raved about this. I never was going to play it because it didn't have guns, but after his very enticing review of it, I said, I'm going to have to play this. Mankind Divided. This I bought the day it came out with the guides. It's a handsome guidebook. It looks like a really cool game, and that's why I got the Human Revolution one not long after, because I wanted to go through and maybe play Human Revolution first and then play Mankind Divided. I wanted both guides. Duke Nukem Forever. I actually love this guidebook. This has a lot of additional artwork, all the levels, level design, everything. It's a very cool game. I even have like the back page that was in the back with the cellophane. They had like everything on the game. It's just got great artwork in it. All the levels, you know, wonderful artwork. It's just so cool. It's a piece of history, man. I mean, whether the game's good or not doesn't matter to me. It's Duke Nukem, and you can see the development, the troubled development of the game in this book, and it's awesome. And the final one I have is The Last of Us Hardbound Edition, which is nice to have. So, or The Art of The Last of Us. I think I sent away for this. I'm not sure, or maybe I found it at my GameStop. I saw it. They had it on sale or something. But it's very cool. So that's my strategy guide collection video. I went through them as quickly as I could. I would have liked to have taken each one and gone down memory lane, but we'd be here for 2.5 hours. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. To sum this up, I'm gutted. I'm really devastated that Prima Games is no longer a thing anymore. I find it very distressing. I'd like to believe that someone's going to continue making guides. I really hope and pray that someone does. I can't imagine buying a lot of these big AAA games without one. And you better believe I'm going to be working hard the next year or two to try to wrap up my guide collection. Again, I want to get like Max Payne, you know, 1 and 2, and Red Faction 1 and 2, a lot of my favorite games from the past. And just to have those guides, it's so nice to have them. I don't need it for every game, but my favorite games, it would be nice to have them. And I'm close. I'm very happy with my strategy guide collection. So thanks for watching, guys. Put in the comments how you feel about guides. Do you like them? Are you indifferent? Have you ever used them? Do you feel sad that, you know, Prima is closing its doors along with Brady Games, because they're both kind of two in the same company? I'm really saddened by it. I'm still trying to reel from it, to be honest. I can't believe this has happened. So Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Put down your thoughts in the comments, and have a great time with your games, guys. Thanks.